principle. When you give to a king, you attract his wealth. And sometimes giving is frightening. I don't want you to think, ladies and gentlemen, it was not easy for that woman to give that meal. I want you to think about it. She got a son. You can see the ribs in his chest. He laid on the bed getting ready to die. And this fat prophet comes to their house. Yes, he was, because he just finished eating angel food cake fed by the birds. The guy was eating cake. That's dessert. I ain't talking about dinner. And he comes there, and this man of God comes to take this poor woman's last meal. It doesn't sound right. The king says, give me the meal first. Let me start the process. Every time I have an emerging need, I start giving more. Before it even comes, when it starts to emerge, I say, wait a minute, I gotta short circuit that. I was born in Baintown. I don't want you to think I was born with no silver spoon. I was born eating off a banana leaf. If you don't understand kingdom, you'll stay in religion and keep pinching pennies. If you want to put pressure on the king, give to the king. A few scriptures that we're going to close. Read this out loud, please. Go. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, come on, read it. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, during the time of King Herod, Magi, who are Magi? Local kings, came from the east, came to where? Jerusalem. And they asked, where is the one who was born what? King. So they heard there was a king born, and they were also kings. Read the rest of it. We saw his star in the east and have come to what? Worship him. Now what do they mean by worship? Worship means to bow down and to throw kisses at somebody. What did they do? They actually, look at verse 12. On coming to the house, come on, read it. On coming to the house, they saw the child, the king, with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. Ladies and gentlemen, these were smart kings. They were putting pressure on Jesus. The minute they heard, God bless you, woman of God, the minute they heard that a king was born, their first reaction was, let's go to the bank and close out the account on incense. I'm going to close my account on gold. I'm going to close my account on myrrh. I'm going to take this precious ointment I got from Africa that was so expensive. I'm going to take it to the little boy. Why? We found a king they say is the greatest king. Let's see how great he is. I'm going to give him all my gold. And they put pressure on Jesus. When you left home to come to this diplomat center, who would you come to? Who would you come here to? Wherever any two of you are gathered together in my name, I am in the midst. You knew that before you came. So you knew that if there was another believer here, the king was going to show up. Which means you should have never left home without a gift prepared already. Sometimes we come in the church, we sit down and say, well, I didn't give. Throw this 5 in the envelope, see? And the king said, no, you didn't come aware of a king being present. We give God on a spur of emotional feelings, or what we could spare, or we flip through the notes in our person and we try to, choose the one that won't hurt us too much. Or do you sit down in your house and say, let me worship with this first. Let me make sure I take a ministry to the king that's going to put pressure on him. I'm going to give him such a good gift, he's going to help to multiply this thing to show that he's greater than me. Strange. They bought their gifts and gave it to him. 7 reasons why you should give to a king. Write them down. Number 1, royal protocol requires that a gift must be presented when visiting a king. That's royal protocol. Jesus said, I am a king. You cannot come before a king empty-handed. When you go to visit Queen Elizabeth, when they begin to instruct you, their first instruction is, do you have a gift? When I went to visit Buckingham Palace, which is an interesting experience for me, when I walked in that place, I saw so much wealth in that place. They had pictures all over the wall. I mean, original paintings worth thousands of dollars each. They had gold goblets and plates. They had a table as long as this room with chairs. I was like, wow, what a living room. They had about 8 chandeliers just to fill the room up, and each chandelier was bigger than this whole section right here. And I'm like, this is a masterpiece. So I asked the guy, I said, where all this stuff coming? He said, oh, this gift is from Milan, this gift is from Nigeria, this gift is... In other words, all these folks came and bought the king gifts. Kings don't forget. Every time a king sees a photograph you painted on the wall that you left, the king remembers you, sends you his favor. What are you leaving with the king today? To remind him of you when you leave this building. Give a gift that impresses him so much that it distracts him. Hallelujah. It's not how much you give, it's how much it costs you that makes him remember you. I'm giving you secrets to set you free. See, this is kingdom stuff, see? This ain't no gimmick. It's the way God decides to introduce himself as a king. Secondly, the gift must be fitting for the king. It must be fitting. If you think much of a person, you don't give them a cheap gift. How many of you ever was insulted by a gift? Let me see your hands. Anybody was insulted? I was insulted many times. Why were you insulted? You say, who do they think I am? Remember that feeling? You see, when a gift can tell you what people think about you. Is what you've given to the Lord fitting to who he is? That's the question. I imagine these magi when they came. Boy, that must have looked ridiculous, eh? A guy is giving a big bag of gold to a baby, 12 months old. It doesn't make sense. But he told what he thought about the baby by his gift. I wonder what God thinks you think about him by the gift you give. How old are you? Stand up. What's your name, baby? Vanessa. Okay, this is Vanessa. Vanessa is 16 years old. What school do you go to? GHS. She goes to the government high school here in the Bahamas. Now, see, she's not working. She's a student, eh? If her parents gave her an allowance, $10 a week or whatever, just allowance. If she takes that $10 and gives the whole $10 to God, she gave more than you who gave $1,000 who got $50,000 left. And God will treat her based on what she gave. Now, if you got 10,000 and you gave 1,000, she got $10 and gave $10. She showed God how much she thinks of him, because she ain't got nothing left. You got 9,000 left. So far as you're concerned, he's a spare king. Thank you. In other words, I give you what I could spare. I could spare. I ain't going to miss this. So I'm not going to miss Jesus if he doesn't show up. God, you know, I give him the kind of offering, but I ain't going to miss the offering. So I think he's the kind of God who you don't miss. Who do you think would attract God? Her or you? Who would he remember? Her or you? She gave everything she had. Now here's the joy of this whole thing. Stand up for me one more time. Vanessa. I was waiting on this point because I want to. This is going to be a good point. Let me come back. If she gave all she had, what kind of pressure she put on him? Now calculate this now. Wait, calculate it slowly. She gave everything she had. What kind of pressure is on the king? Come on, calculate it. She has put the ultimate pressure on the king. It's not the amount of money. It's the value she put on him.